I've been teaching you how to build a stream. Now it's time to learn how to control it. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I am Joe Finley, and today we take our stream to another next level. We're going to just keep making these leaps and bounds, and we're introducing the Stream Deck to our stream. This is the Stream Deck XL. You don't have to get the XL. I found that I needed it for some of the things that I produce. You can see here that I use more than the allotted number of buttons for the normal size thing. This particular page needs to be reorganized, but then here is another show that I produce, and you can see again I use more buttons on this individual one, so it just felt necessary to me, so I didn't have to keep going through different menus and stuff like that. But for the average person, for the average streamer, the normal size one will do. And there's some people who are going to keep it really simple, which is a good thing. It's not a bad thing to just have, a couple of scenes and a couple of sources that you need to do. If you're good at what you do, you don't need a lot. So I'm not that pretty. I'm not that interesting. So I need more buttons. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to guide you through setting up a Stream Deck with your buttons and all those sorts of things, what kind of things you can control on a Stream Deck, even beyond just regular old stream controls. And then I'll teach you how to apply it on stream. So let's get started. Okay, so this is the software that we're dealing with. This is just Stream Deck software. You download this from the Elgato website when you've purchased your Stream Deck, no matter what size. It's the same software no matter what. Whichever one you have plugged in will show up here. First thing we're going to do, so just to guide you through, these are buttons that I've already created. I'm going to show you how to do all of this, so we're not going to worry too much about that. So I'm going to start by creating my own folder just for this stream. So what the first thing I want to do is I want to create my own separate area for the entire stream. So I'm going to go under the Stream Deck tab here and click it. And then here's all the options that I can add for this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a folder. We're going to drag that on. You can customize it any number of ways, but I'm just going to do something really quick now, and we're just going to name it Train, because we're training. If you wanted to change the icon behind, you can hit this little plus button, and there's a number of things in here that you can use as your icon. Or if you click this little button here, you can set from a file, you can create a new icon. They actually have their own icon creation software, and then you can open that Stream Deck library, which we just saw when I click the plus sign. You can create your own icons, and those you can see up here. I created one for my podcast, Miscast Commentary. I created my own here. I also used one for Dueling Decades here. All you have to do is just have a square file that's 72 pixels by 72 pixels. So anything you have, if it's square, you can just shrink it down and you're good to go. Otherwise, you can make it whatever you want. The world is your oyster. This is your own personal platform to do with as you please. So for now, we're just going to keep this simple. And then now that I have this folder in place, you can see it has 0 items. We're going to go into it, double click, and now we have a blank canvas to work with. So what I would like to do right off the bat, we're going to go through our different options up here. The first option we have at the top here is game capture. This is if you have any kind of Elgato capture cards, if you have the Cam Link, or if you have the HD 60 Plus, or if you have any of the internal ones like the 4K 60 Pro or the HD 60 Pro. Any of those gives you access to this program to capture your video, whatever's going into it, whether it's camera or game, whatever. And these are all different commands. And the one that people tend to use most on here is the flashback recording. So what happens is you would drag this onto your button here, and then you see the commands here are in times. So basically what happens with the capture utility is it's always creating a recording until you stop it. What will happen is if you hit any of these times, so if I say 5 minutes here, and then we'll just type in 5 min, and then I hit that button, it would save the last 5 minutes of the video that I was just capturing. You can do that like we showed, anywhere from a few seconds down to like 30 minutes. And once you've created a button, you're not limited to it being here. You can move it wherever you want. You can actually make a copy of it and then have another one somewhere else, and then you could just change parameters if that's all you're looking to do. But let's just say, for the sake of argument, that I'll put that down here. OBS Studio. So the OBS Studio is what I use, but there's stuff in here that I believe for XSplit and Streamlabs OBS and all those other ones, Twitch Studio. But here are the commands. So some simple ones: scene, obviously. Mixer audio, so you can use this to mute certain microphones or bring certain microphones up. Record, stream, and source. Simple enough, right? So we're going to start here. We're going to start with our scenes. So we've made 2 scenes together. I'm going to put one here, and we're just going to make that the scene that we're currently on, which is technically our gaming scene. So I'll just call it game. From here as well, you can change anything with your fonts. So you can change to different fonts up here. You can see it's changed there. You can change colors of your fonts, like so. But obviously you want to make it so you can read it as well as you can, which is why I made it nice and bold, and like so. You can also change your text size depending on what you've written down. Obviously, I like to make it as big as possible so it fits as much as the area. You may also choose to not show the title at all and just have the icon, because you might have an icon that's very indicative of what the button is. So that's all up to you. So there, I've got that one. Now I want to make another scene, and we'll just make this my camera mask scene, because we've just got the 2 scenes right now. So I'll just call this one mask. Now obviously we wouldn't usually switch to the mask scene, but this is just for, you know, proof of concept. And you can see as I'm doing these things, they appear in real time. And the next thing I'm going to do is add some sources. So I'm going to add just a source here under my game. How you organize these is up to you. It's not really a big deal one way or the other. It's just how it's going to be easiest for you, because sometimes you're not going to want to be looking and trying to figure out what it is. So the whole point of this thing is to customize it. So customize it as best you can. So a good example here, one of the sources I'm going to add in our game is our oh yeah. Okay, perfect. So I'll call this oh yeah. I'll actually show you. You can see I actually have a Vincent Chase icon to be my oh yeah for my other stream, but we're not going to deal with that right now. So that's my oh yeah. You can see it's cut off a little bit, so I'm going to actually just shrink it down. Or we can do this as well. There, we'll just do that. So now, when I click that button, wunderbar. Now, because I've turned it on, I do need to press it again to turn it off. And then I press it again to turn it on. And press again to turn it off. I'll teach you a little way around that in just a second, though. Another source I can add is my cam, because we had that whole scene and group together, and I showed you how we animate that in every time and stuff like that. So we'll try that, and we'll do cam like this. So then if I hit that button, it animates in just like we did in our OBS 201 video. And then I hit it again, and it animates back out. So that's just a really quick way. Again, if you have your cam up while you're playing game and then you want to uncover it so somebody can see a full screen of something, say you're showing a web page or you're doing something like that on stream, you can just do that really quick. Obviously, it's nice to have record and stream commands directly on here. I find as little as I need to use the keyboard and mouse, especially when you're doing gaming streams and stuff like that, the better. Only because you're using the keyboard and mouse very likely to be doing the gaming, and you have to navigate yourself out of a full screen game to mess around with that stuff. And you don't want to be doing that. You want to just be able to quickly hit one thing. So let's move a little bit further down, and we have our soundboard. You can add any sounds you want here, really simple. Let's just find one that we can add very quickly. So I'm just gonna put one down in the bottom corner here. And I'm gonna find a file. I've got a tone here. So wait for it to load, and bam, ready. Now, all I need to do is hit that tone button, and Pretty cool, because then you could whatever you wanted. You can use this to do little music cues and stingers. If you do a video podcast or something like that, you can have all of those ready on your board, especially if you don't have something like the Rodecaster Pro, or if you're using Rode Connect or something that has a soundboard. You can just have one yourself, especially if you only have a few, right? There's no sense in getting some kind of special soundboard application for a tablet or buying some expensive soundboard utility, anything like that, when you just have this thing already at your avail. Okay, now we go into the actual Stream Deck controls. So we did the create folder already. You can actually create unlimited folders. I can create a folder in here, which then create a folder in there. And then like we get Inception Joe, whenever we do this display capture, we can have Inception Stream Deck just going down deeper and deeper into the hole. Again, really depends on the kind of stream you're designing and stuff like that. I wanted to avoid doing that, especially when I'm, you know, operating a live podcast, so navigating those can be a little bit of a time waster for me. But you may have some things that you use so rarely that you want them tucked away so you don't accidentally hit them or something, and putting them into a folder is a great way to do that. A couple other things down here. So now we have multi-action switch, random action, which is a weird one. But let's go over what these three do. So the multi-action is a really cool one, and I'm actually going to replace this oh yeah for a minute so we can do that. So just to show you how to delete one of these, I'm going to click on it and just click the little garbage can, and now it's gone. Now I'm going to bring this multi-action in. Now we're going to call this oh yeah. Oops. There we go. And now I can start dragging in as many actions as I want. So now I'm going to go back up here, and I'm going to bring in a source, and that's going to be my oh yeah source. So I click on that, and then I control it just like I did before when I just was controlling a single button. So I'm just going to call it oh yeah, and then we're going to find oh yeah, and then move on to the next thing. And what the next thing's going to be, we're going to go back down to the Stream Deck down here, and we're going to see a delay. So I'm going to drag that delay in, and voila. Now I'm going to create a delay between when this starts and when I want to create my next command. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make that about 10 seconds. I know that this video doesn't play for 10 seconds, but I'm not going to need it to be shorter. So I'm just boom, and it's all in milliseconds. So 10 seconds is 10,000 milliseconds, and you know, do the math. And then I'm going to take another source here, and then I'm going to deactivate oh yeah. So now what's going to happen, we're going to come out. So there's my oh yeah, and I hit that. It comes in, and then after 10 seconds, it's going to go out. So I know you guys can't see it right now, but I'm just going to wait for it. And it just went out. So that means the next time I hit it, without having to turn it off again, now I'm not doing the double and trying to have to remember that. It's just automatically turning itself back off. And these multi-events can get really complex too. To give you an example of some of the ones that I do, let's actually go into my Dueling Decades one. So you'll see here that we have multiple multi-action events here. So if I click on any one of them, so like the intro, for example, you'll see I have two mixer audio deactivates here. So that's turning off the microphone. So that's my personal microphone and the Zoom audio coming in. So it mutes all that. So it can then change the intro, which is just playing the intro video. Then we create a delay, which is the length of the video. Then we turn the mics back on, and we go to another scene, and then that's the host solo, where it comes in and he greets everybody. So with one button, I switch scenes, I mute everybody so we can't talk over the music. The music plays with the video, comes out, switches scenes again, all in one fluid motion. And then the different multi-actions here, they're the different categories. So what happens is it activates the video trigger for one category. It also shuts off all of the other categories, because we have on the side, you'll see a bar that has what category we're currently on lit up. So it makes sure to shut off all the other ones and turn on only the one we need, because they're all layered and you wouldn't see it otherwise. So I do all that so it does it all in one fluid motion again as I'm transitioning to that scene. Okay, so we've added a multi-action. Now we've got another one here called the multi-action switch. And what that is it's going to give you multiple actions, but I'll just have to show you. So I'm going to add it right here, and you'll see already it's different from the multi-action that we had before. So if I take an action, say I take my mixer audio, and I drag it here, now I can do what I want with this particular one. So I can click on it, and I can say deactivate the audio for my mic. Okay? And we'll just call this mute. And then on the second one, we can unmute. There we go. Then we can unmute, and then I can bring in that same mixer audio, and then I can activate the mic. So this is just a really simplistic version. But now if we go back, so you can see where it says mute, I hit it. And now you can hear me again. What it does is you can actually create a multi-action event on both sides of that too. It doesn't have to be a single action. You can create any number of things, and then you can use that one button to go between the two things. You can use that to go between two different scenes if you want. That requires multi-actions or something like that. And say at the beginning of your stream, you want to have a stream starting soon. So you can do a multi-action where you could say, switch to the starting soon screen, then start streaming, then send out a tweet, which we'll do in a couple minutes. It's kind of fun. And any other number of things that you want. Then on the other side, you could do the opposite, where you could have a stream ending scene. So you can hit that button again, and now the stream ending scene comes up as maybe a timer goes by, and then you stop the stream. So you can do all that in one button, which actually, again, lessens the number of buttons that you potentially need for any individual stream. Now we go down and we see the random action. So this one's a little weird. I can see use cases for it though. So if I drag it in, so basically what I can do is I can drag a bunch of different actions in here. Say for example, you have a bunch of celebratory things. So like we have our oh yeah, but say I had a bunch of different ones. I could drag them all in here as different sources. Then when I hit the button, one of those would play at random. So that could be a good way to kind of keep the stream fresh or something like that if you create a bunch of different fun little things like that. Like for example, something I'm actually looking to design myself are a bunch of things that are good and then a bunch of things that are bad. You know, if I screw up or something like that, I get myself killed, like I can hit the bad button and then one of many things could pop up for me. So it's a pretty cool way to, you know, not have to think about, oh, which one did I do last? And I want to do a different one this time, blah, blah, blah. The timer, add this in, and it literally is what it is. It's a timer. You can then create a sound that's going to play when the timer finishes. You could do that for kind of a game show sort of scenario or any number of things. You can also obviously customize your own by going in and then going to find, I believe. Oh wait, no. You can go in and go to other, and then you can play what you want. So, I mean, there's any number of reasons that you might want to actually have a timer up on your stream. You might be doing a challenge where you're like, I want to get, 50 kills in the next half hour or something like that. If we go down next, so we're going to look at the Streamlabs OBS. It's the exact same setup as the OBS Studio one. It's just that it's going to control Streamlabs OBS. Then we go into our system. So these are just some computer commands. So you could like literally put in a website and then type in whatever you want and then bring that website in. We get rid of that. Or hotkey switches. This one could be really good, especially if you're using it for a program that's not a stream. Say you were using it for an editing program or something like that. You can make it one hotkey to, like, say, you're using DaVinci Resolve or something. You can use that hotkey to play it, and then you can use the hotkey and then it'll fast forward it. The possibilities for things like that are kind of limitless. It's really a matter of what you want to do, what your imagination will let you do, and what you need. Again, this is not something that you would use for most situations in streaming, because Stream Deck basically has integrations with all the things that you're going to use anyways, so it's not necessary. But again, if you're using other programs, if you're using Photoshop and you want to, you know, program your favorite hotkeys for, you know, switching tools or changing brush sizes or anything like that, you can program all those in, so then you don't have to have them memorized for your keyboard or whatever. You can just look down and see, oh, you know, brush tool, hit that. Oh, brush size, hit that. So what System does more than anything is it takes it kind of out of the limits of just streaming, and then makes it basically available to any program that you've got on your computer. And now we're down to Twitter. I did say that you could send out a tweet, and I meant it. So if I literally drag tweet in, you can see my account is already here, but you can add an account. So if you have multiple Twitter accounts, you could add all of them, and then you could switch between them depending on, you know, what was what. If you use one account for when you're, say, maybe doing a video podcast, and a different account when you're just streaming on your own, and then you can just call this whatever you want. So test, and then I'm gonna go ahead and write, and maybe we'll do a little attachment. Let's find like a picture or something I can use. And now literally all I need to do is hit that button, and it says it's done. And voila, look at this beautiful face. But you can set up as many different tweets as you want. I personally have them set up to let people know when I go live. And I really like that you can control more than one account at any given time. I can have them all up on one page and just be like, tweet. Now, the one limitation to it is you can only send the tweet once every 12 hours. So you can't accidentally hit it twice and then it go out twice. And for whatever reason, you can also change your name. So that's your account, and then you can just change the name on there. Maybe you want a different name to be up when you're live, so people know that you're live. I don't know, but I wouldn't personally do it, but you can, because they made it available to you. Going into the Elgato Control Center, this appears to be for their lights, specifically their colored lights and things like that. You can turn on the lights, you can set the brightness, you can set the color temperature, or you can just set the straight up color. I don't have any of those lights. The lights I have are just cheap ones, but they seem to work. I mean, I'm lit. Twitch Studio, again, similar controls to using OBS, slobs, anything like that. Voice mod, this is an interesting one because this is like more of a third-party kind of thing. Well, I guess so is Twitch and other things like that. But this is a program you can download, and you'll input your mic into the program. It'll output a mod, and then you can actually have those on your Stream Deck if you want. So you can just turn a voice changer on here. So I go to voice changer, drag it in, then select the voice that I want to have. I don't have any voices set up for this yet, but if you know you wanted to have like a crazy scary voice for, you know, a certain scenario, or you wanted to sound like a little baby, or I don't know why, but you could do all those different things. That's something I want to play around with a bit more. Maybe I'll make a video just on doing the voice changer. Okay, now we go back to something that I actually have. So Philips Hue, very similar to the Elgato Control Center. Turn the lights on, change the color, you can color cycle the colors, change the brightness, or you can use one of the Philips Hue scenes. Now, I have a number of scenes built specifically for YouTube and then for just around the house. So if I just drag in a scene, for example, right now, and then I go to my living room, because that's where I currently am, I can select any of these. So let's say, for example, I want my YouTube 1. So you see the color just changed behind me. It just does that automatically as I go through. But let's go ahead and I'm going to do the YouTube 1, 2, and 3. And then I hit it, and then I hit scene 1, 2, and 3. Beauty. So now here's some extra ones that I downloaded. So here's bar rater, here's the stream counter, and this is what I use to do my scorekeeping for Dueling Decades. So what you do is you just drag this in, and it's just a number. You start with an initial value, you can give it a title if you're so inclined, and what happens is you create a text file. And what happens is every time you hit that button, it writes to the text file and ups the number. So then you can just hit the button, hit the button, hit the button. Now, if you go to the long press action here, or the short and long press actions, you can actually change what they do. Then you could take the text file that it's saving to and you could add that to your stream. So then as you hit the button, it updates that file, which then updates live on the stream. Next thing we have here is Twitch. We've got a lot of different things. So you have chat message. So if you want to have a message that you want to send off at certain times, it could be directing somebody to your socials. It could be directing somebody to like your YouTube page. It could just be reminding people to follow or subscribe or any of those things like that. Say you've got a giveaway that you're going to be doing, but you don't want to keep repeating over and over again the same things. There are chat bots that can do this, by the way, which I would highly recommend. We'll get into that in another lesson too when we go into a Stream Elements lesson. But if that's something that's kind of beyond you, or if you just like to have better control over when you're doing that, you know, if there's a little lull or something like that, then you can create those automatically, and you can just have those and press those buttons as you see fit. Clear chat does exactly what it sounds like. If you have a window up in your stream where you can see your chat and you cleared the chat, it would do exactly that. Emote chat basically changes your chat so nobody can type anything. Any of the Twitch buttons, by the way, connect directly to your Twitch account, so just be mindful of that. What else we got? Followers chat. So these are things that are, I believe, for affiliates and stuff like that. So then, you know, if there's a lot of people in your chat, but, you know, you want to give your followers that kind of VIP treatment, you have followers only chat, so they're the only ones who can actually type in. If you're affiliated or partnered, you can trigger to play an ad. Slow chat, that's if, you know, people are just flying through. It just slows down the increments of which messages show up in the chat. Sub chat, same thing as followers chat, except for subs. Create a stream marker, that's a good one. If you need to go back and find something specific during your stream that maybe you want to clip later or something like that, you can set that button up. Really quickly, just drag it in, and there's nothing else to it. There's you've got my account, and you give it your title if you wanted to, but I know that this is a marker thing, so I would just be like, oh, I want to remember this spot, and just hit the marker and does it for you. Viewers, again, it goes up. There's nothing to configure here. It's just going to say how many viewers you have on stream at any given time and while you're streaming. It's a nice little quick thing to have, especially if you don't have one of the stream manager screens up, or, you know, usually I actually keep mine up on my phone so I can see all my stats quickly, and then my chat's there in case my chat goes down on OBS. And then you can create clips from here. You can open the last clip. Basically anything you want to do on Twitch, you can do automatically. Down here, so Bar Raider, you see this is not one of those third-party like developers. They've done a lot of things. So here's actually controls for Spotify. You do have to, when you use this, download kind of a separate program that connects Spotify to this. More OBS tools. And then down here, I've got my Wave link, and you can see all the controls there. So anything Elgato is automatically like native. It works. You don't have to do anything as far as like setting up accounts or any of that stuff if it's plugged in and it's ready to go. So you can mute specific inputs. So if I just dragged into here, mute an input, and then I can show my different mixes. So what you could do with the mute input, so I can take my input and whatever ones I have set up. So right now, just for this training purposes, I only have these sources set up, which is my microphone, the music or my Spotify, my browser, and then my gameplay. So I could mute gameplay, or I can mute just the music, or I can mute my microphone. Now, I mean, I can also just... Yeah, but I don't know why you would necessarily need to use a separate button to mute the mic when it's so easy to do that. But you can, and you could also do that with any of the other sources that you have. The best example I could think of is, you know, say you've got people on Discord and chat. So, like, you know, when you're playing a game or something like that, but you've been killed and you want to talk to your chat for a little while without bothering them, you can mute that for a little bit, so then you're not talking to them anymore. You could hear them if you want, but you could also even turn that off, and then you can just talk to chat and not hear whatever, or not have them hear you. Then when you're jumping back into the game, just unmute it, and then you're ready to rock and roll again with them. Other things we can look at, setting input and output volumes, so that can actually, you can set them at specific values, or you can turn them up, turn them down. Toggle monitoring, that's just turning your headphones on and off, I guess. Setting your monitor mix is setting where that's being sent. So typically you're sending that to your headphones, but you might want to send that to speakers, or even a backup set of headphones if one goes down. I don't know what you do. I don't know your life. But yeah, you could do that really quick, or you could toggle between a couple of different ones. So you can just have it go between, hey, my headphones or my speakers or whatever. And then microphone settings, if we bring that in really quick, then you can go in here and then here's all the things. So you could adjust gain, you could set the gain. So again, adjusting would be turning it up and down. Setting it would be having a very specific value. Output volume, adjusting the mic PC mix, all these kind of different things. Clip guard and low cut are built-in things into here. But that's everything I have here. But that's not everything. Now if I click up here, okay, so here's the store. And here's your Discover. There's all sorts of different things you can find in here. But let's just going into plugins. Like here's all the plugins. You can see if I just scroll down, like so many are in here. But just like as examples, like here's other developers' stream counters. There's games you can find in here. You can find stock tickers. You can find controls for YouTube, different controls for Spotify and Philips. Here's the Wavelink one that I had already downloaded. See here, Stream Deck games. Then just keep going. Nano Leaf controls, Minecraft stats, whatever that's all about. MIDI music. So I mean, like anything you could think of, and a bunch of things that you would never bother to think of are available in here. Next, icons. You don't like the icons that are provided by Elgato? Too lazy to make them on your own? Then you can get different packs from here, and they're all free. So you just, pick what you want depending on what you're doing. So again, say you want to create just one whole profile that's just for Photoshop. There's Photoshop icon pack. So then you can add those icons and then they'll look exactly like it would look if you were actually working in Photoshop. So you can recognize the images as you're doing different things. They have them for all sorts of different programs too. They got them for Premiere Pro. They've got them for DaVinci Resolve. Oh, there's for DaVinci Resolve. Yeah, any number of things and any number of different just general themes. If you go on to music, there's just a bunch of random songs here. I don't really know how Twitch and YouTube and Facebook games would react to these songs. I don't know if you would get some kind of hit, like say you were on YouTube, if you would get some kind of claim or something like that. I really don't know. It doesn't say anywhere here that this stuff is, DMCA protected, like royalty free, anything like that. So I would like to hope it was, but I'm not going to take the risk myself until I actually see that for certain. But it's got a pretty cool little search thing here. You can go by genre and by instrument and by tempo and by how long it is. So like, if you're looking for something really specific, you can nail it down. And then you got your sound effects here. If you're setting up a soundboard or something, you can download all of these. They go into a folder on your computer. You can preview them. So there's a little ding, just some whooshes. Gotta love it. Or hold on a minute. Right? What have you. And there's just a bunch here like this. I imagine if you have some soundboard going that you probably have access to a bunch of sound effects already, but you can never have too many. This might have something that you just don't have and haven't found yet. So that's basically what the store is. There's tons of stuff in here for you to explore and kind of, customize Stream Deck to yourself. All right, gang, that's it for this video. I really hope you liked it. If you made it this far, I'd like to think you did. And if you did, make sure to hit like, hit subscribe so you know when new videos come out. Check out all my socials. All the links are down below. And always let me know in the comments what you thought about the video and if there's anything else you'd like to learn about the Stream Deck or anything else in general. But until next time, guys, let's get to work.
Oh, he must have knocked the kid out again.
Actually, it was really interesting because I guess he felt like he was kind of like a father figure to him, both kind of like on and off screen. And Linda Hamilton had said that it was just kind of perfect because they were emotionally about the same age.
That's hilarious.